what message does it send to other players if you continue to play underperforming players and the ones that are coming in and making a difference, like Chiesa, are forever overlooked? I know if I was in that dressing room, I'd be annoyed about it. I know many of our fans are annoyed about it. Yeah, it's a tough one because nobody wants to be sitting here saying, Arne, sack Arne. Of course not. Was that people just don't understand what we're trying to do. Like I said, I've been around football 36 years and I look at the way we play and I haven't got a clue what the philosophy is. I haven't got a clue what we're trying to achieve. And I definitely don't have a clue why we're moving the ball across the back line so slowly. And when you're playing teams that the manager is moaning about a low block, we're giving them time to reset. We're helping them in their low block because we're going backwards. Eddie said, I think the manager is too scared of Mo. The Mo subject is such a difficult one, Eddie, to discuss because football, unfortunately, is a what have you done for me lately business. But the love and admiration that we all have for Mohamed Salah, I'm sure is probably matched by Arne. But like I said at the start, if the losses keep on coming, it's not going to be Mo that loses his job. It's going to be the manager. So the manager has to do what's best for the team. And you're starting to see a narrative in the media from the likes of Jamie Carragher and stuff saying that like it is time to take him out, Mo, for a while. You know, he shouldn't be a guaranteed starter. And you've got others, of course, going down the route of this is Mesut Ozil all over again. This is Alexis Sanchez all over again. Mo just looks... He just looks a shadow of himself. And I don't know if it's because of the relationship that's not there with Trent. I don't know if it's because his brother and teammate in Diogo passed away. And I'm sure that obviously that has a huge impact on all of them. But it just isn't there. It just isn't there. And I don't understand what Slot thinks is going to change. He has to be held to account for these performances, no matter who he is. Nobody should be bigger than the club, and nobody should be beyond reproach. Nobody. So he's got to make a big decision. And I don't know if he ever weighs up what the fan base think or want, but I don't think there'd be too many people arguing if Mohamed Salah was given a couple of games on the bench and Fede Chiesa was given a chance on the right side. I don't think you're going to see too many Liverpool fans that are angry about it, because if it's this point, it just feels like it's the obvious thing to do. But I don't want this to be a it's all on Mo thing, because it isn't. Mo is not the only underperforming player we have with the club at the minute. Alexis McAllister looks a very different guy from the guy we know he's capable of being. Both of our centre-backs have had shaky moments. Like I said, the full-back positions are completely all over the place. Robbo has to start playing games now because Kirkes just isn't there yet. He's young, he's got plenty of time, but he's not there yet, and it's very clear to see. So if Slot doesn't start doing this, the pressure's only going to mount, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Said, like with Ronaldo, Rooney and others, maybe as he gets older, perhaps the wing is not the place for Salah. Start easing him into a different position. I've nothing bad to say about that comment. I spoke about it last year as well. And like you've rightly said, most of these guys reinvented themselves. Ronaldo became a striker. Messi sat a little bit deeper at times. I think the problem we have with the idea of doing that now, daydreaming, is we've just brought in two number 9s, in Ugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. So where do you play Mo if you're to move him off the wing? Because you're not going to push out one or two of those guys, really, are you, at this point? With the money especially spent on the likes of Isak, what, 125, 130 million, and then the money on Ekitike as well. So, you know, it may have been an option before we invested again in the centre-forward position, but right now I just don't know where would we play him to get him into the team to, as you said, maybe get him closer to goal, because used to say he wasn't getting involved enough and we weren't getting him. Now he's just missing chances. And look, he's human. And I keep coming back to the Diogo tragedy because it would be completely unfair of me not to say that this, of course, is something that I'm sure has hurt these guys a lot and is impacting them still. And that's okay. But this is why it's more important that the manager makes the tough decisions and takes it out of their hands. Because the manager has to be the one that makes it tick. he has to be the one that makes these tough calls. That's why he's paid the big bucks. Mark said VVD and Salah big contract renewal has down tools. It's really difficult to not kind of say you've got something of a point. But what I can say to you is, from the time we've known Virgil and Mo and what they've done at the club, I don't think downing tools is in their vocabulary. I don't think it's a conscious decision to half-arse it. It's just my opinion on it. Because if I could say to you, like, there's one guy in world football who I don't think would get a big contract and just stop trying, it would be Mo. And I'm not accusing him of not trying. But what I am saying is he's just not been good enough. And, we have to start accepting these things. And I'm not saying he's finished, because, I don't think he is finished. His form last season showed us that he's not finished. So we do have the heartbreak they've suffered. We do have... Look, the easiest way I can say this is character is built when there's problems. You know who you can count on when there's problems. You know who goes hiding when there's problems. And it's in these moments of crisis that real change and leadership is formed. So no more talking. No more shit to the media. Just get out there and fucking do it. Put in the effort. Put in the hard yards. Crunch in a tackle. Get dirty, Virgil. Slide. Go to ground. Do anything. But this stuff needs to stop. This sideways, backwards passing nonsense needs to stop. And if it's the manager, then say it. Say, we're under instruction. This is what we're doing. Because I can't believe any coach in the world is saying, yeah, get the ball, lads, on the halfway line. Go backwards and then spend 2 minutes going left to right. Then run forward a little bit. Then be faced with an opponent. Then turn around again. Go back again. And rinse and repeat. And then we can go inside and cry about a low block. Well, you're helping them with their low block by giving them that time to reset. Because the few times we do get into good positions, the few times we do catch teams out of position, we're then helping them defend. It is insanity. So that evening, Craig thought we would have sorted it out. Arna would have realised his mistakes, starting to think he might be a bit too stubborn. He's definitely stubborn. Most managers have a stubborn streak in certain areas, but what I keep coming back to is the forward line. Because, like I've said, he's got 6, but he only really has 4. And that annoys me. Because when you've got 4, and Salah isn't performing, and Isak looks lost, you've then got Gakpo and Ekitike. And this isn't you or I that's not playing Rio Engamoa. This isn't you or I that said Rio was going to step up and be a first teamer. Because if we had been told Rio was going to be on the periphery of it, sometime with the 21s, few games here or there, we'd have all understood it. But we were told we have 6 forwards. But the manager's not using 6 forwards. So it's like last season again, where he didn't want to play Chiesa and Elliott. And we had them on the bench, and it was 2 spots on the bench wasted. It's like that all over again. Chiesa is, at this point, nothing else I can say, but he has been mistreated. He's been overlooked, and it feels like Arna's trying to make a point. And I don't know what the point is. Was he a player forced upon him that he didn't want? Because people gave out to me when I said I had question marks about whether Chiesa really had a niggle in the Champions League. But let's look at the life of Federico Chiesa at Liverpool for a minute. So he came in and we all knew he hadn't played much football. So that was okay. And then we were told he's going to take a while to get fit. Again, no problem with that. Common sense. That then somehow drags out through the whole fucking season. And he's still not getting a chance. And he couldn't not be fit at that point. And you can't say he's not match fit, because how can somebody be match fit without getting minutes? So then we go to the summer. And he scores a goal. And then the club go on the pre-season tour. And all of a sudden we're told again, he has a mystery niggle. But that's not what some of the journalists were saying. They were saying he was left behind so he could sort out a move, to get a move back to Italy or away from the club. But, again, those of us that question that were told no. Why would Arna lie? Because fucking managers lie all the time. Every time they look into a camera, they lie. They have to. Because they can't say what you or I would say. They have to back their players. So if people are so naive that they don't think football clubs or managers lie to them, they do every single day because they have to. Yeah, it's just fucking frustrating.